Hey there, this is Matt O'Leary, and this is an album that I've been waiting to review for a while, and some fans have been waiting for it for 6 years. It is the fourth in a 6-album concept, The Deer Hunters Act 4 Rebirth and Reprise. Casey Crescenzo is a man after my own heart. But seriously, as an indie prog buff and a mega fan of bands like the Mars Volta and Coheed, this band intrigued me from the start. It's been a couple weeks since this album came out, but sometimes I just like to let it sit and resonate with me for a while before I review it. Other reviewers, I understand for views, putting in a review out exactly when an album comes out or the week before, but I just don't understand sometimes how you can hear it once or twice and then give, an informed opinion. I was a little late to the party on these guys. I heard Act 1 in 2010-ish. And then I didn't really think of them until Migrant came out, their first non-concept album, and a fantastic album at that. So with the acts, I didn't really catch on right away, but they grabbed my attention again with Migrant, and then I decided to dig back into them. But still, they were really slow growers. I found Casey's vocal approach to be a little obnoxious, and the whole mythos just to be a little overblown. Once I started to wrap my head around the concept a little more, not set in space like the Amory Wars, but rather setting in the early 20th century, I started to see the method behind the madness. I mean, the sheer ambition and diversity of genres within the acts alone, music just seems to pour out of this guy. I've started to see his high notes as less painful and more impassioned, and the ridiculous vaudeville as an apt portrayal of his characters and setting. I can say with confidence that Act 4 is my favorite album of theirs, and not just of the acts. It's not as succinct as Act 1 or as story-centric as Act 2, but every one of the 14 or 15 songs here carries its own weight. I'm partial to the layered a cappella harmony intros, so Rebirth is perfect for me in that sense. Terrific progression. The Old Haunt is a typically bombastic rocker with a bridge that builds to a stunning climax on the words, "Now we wake up." Also, this tune closes with my favorite musical reference on the album. It's a slightly altered version of Act 2's The Lake and the River that transfers seamlessly into the most accessible and poppy song, Waves. This one's just super catchy, and the imagery conjured through the hope of a lighthouse in the dark works super well. Moving ahead a little, Remembered is a simple song but with hauntingly beautiful vocal and instrumental melodies. It's really the calm before the storm as the boy spreads the mother's ashes and foresees his ill fate as he heads back to the city where it's about to go down. There's also that lyrical motif thrown in there from Battesimo del Fuoco, The Fire Remains. If you're not catching these story references, that's perfectly okay. I think the music is good enough on its own. You don't really need to know the story, it just enhances the experience. Definitely don't feel like a fraud because the whole thing can be pretty vague and complex at times. A Night on the Town is the standout track here for me, combining everything I love about the Deer Hunter in 9 epic minutes. Got 2 verses and 2 amazing and explosive choruses before the band breaks off and just jams on this dynamic 6-minute journey. It goes back and forth from woodwind leads to raucous arena rock gang vocals. It's closed out by this sinister and trippy oboe line. The lyrics and music follow the ups and downs of a drunken, scandalous night of debauchery back in the city for the boy. This song reminds me of one of my absolute favorite bands, House of Heroes. I think it's really similar to them, especially a song like In the Valley of the Dying Sun. It's got the same kind of Queen-inspired vocal harmonies and an almost cinematic approach to prog. I got 3 words for the next song, Is There Anybody Here? Pink Floyd's Time. 2 words for the Squeaky Wheel, Pop Masterpiece. And 1 word for the Bittersweet Abandon, Groove. Then we get to the Radio Disney section of the album on King of Swords Reversed. Not my favorite song, but it definitely matches the shallowness of the lyrical theme of a political campaign. The song The Line is a stripped-down, finger-picking acoustic ballad with gorgeous harmonies and intelligent composition. The closing track here, Ouroboros, is a really unique song amongst all these others. I think rhythmically, especially during the verses, it's just something I didn't expect. It's got an outro straight out of a Reina Kindo song, another one of my favorites. In the story, from what I can understand, the character, the pimp and the priest, has finally sort of found out the boy and threatens to reveal his whole scandal from the city in the past acts. If the boy unveils the pimp's identity and kind of shows the town the dirty business, but now that the boy is the mayor, the citizens will surely throw him out of office if they find out about his whole scandal. Can't wait to see what Act 5 has in store. This one gets a 9 out of 10 from me. Definitely contender for Rock Album of the Year. There's a lot of indie music out there that's just so extremely carefree and almost too simple to the point where it just doesn't sound like they even gave it a second thought. A lot of people would curse the indulgence of someone like Casey just for, you know, how much ambition and how much story and how crazy this whole thing is with the acts, but in music I really look for this. I really look for someone who's taking risks and just showing that kind of ambition, even if they're falling short half the time. So I definitely give it up to the Deer Hunter. I saw these guys live about a week and a half ago with this band, Chon, who just blew me away. And I was standing right in front of the stage, literally just right in front of Casey. I think some of his sweat got on me. It was really cool to see these guys that close up and see just this passion coming from them. But I was standing actually in front of the main speakers, so the sound, I don't know, it was kind of all over the place. I couldn't hear vocal harmonies at times, and some instruments were just kind of left out, especially just the layered guitar work. And yeah, so, you know, I couldn't even pick a key sometimes from just this wall of noise coming at me from being that close. But it definitely was an adrenaline rush, and if I saw them again I would try to stand further back and just more focus on the music than anything else. But good to see so many passionate fans. I think Casey was really impressed with how many people came to the show. It was a tiny venue, but it was just completely packed. So he thanked us many times. Yeah, so it was a good concert, but yeah, I would change that one aspect if I went to see them again. I was going to show the vinyl in this video, but it hasn't arrived yet somehow. It's been about 3 weeks since the album came out. I think Merch Now is just really screwing this one up. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you loved this album as much as I did.